Some start this journey and then they fail, and I want to share with you why that is and how you can avoid failing yourself. So some fail because they just don't get help or support, or because they give up as soon as they run into problems, or because they get overwhelmed, so they just stop doing it altogether, just like a deer in headlights. And then some fail because they do a lot of things, but not the right things. These people end up failing because they just get stuck on something that could be simple to walk forward from, but they just don't have the resources to help them get unstuck. Or they fail because life happens to them, they get busy and put moving along in their journey on hold because they let excuses in life get in the way. We all do it, but then they don't pick back up. These people need accountability and encouragement to keep going in those situations. So this can come in the form of finding a coach like us or a community like the one we have in our program and submerging yourself in so that you have that support around you to keep you going when you find yourself in those situations. So our program, our All-In Coaching program, has all of this and a course that teaches you all the things that we've already talked about and more along in your journey. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But the important thing to focus on whenever you find yourself in these situations is that you just got to keep moving. So even when they are the smallest steps possible, you have to take them. Okay, so real quick with me, think about the last thing that you got really excited about. Maybe it's something like switching out everything in your house to natural, so getting rid of anything with chemicals in it. I know I've gone down this road. I've been super excited and motivated to make the switch on everything. Then I get to things like, for me, toothpaste, and it gets hard. There is too much contradicting information out there, info about fluoride being good for you and info about it being horrible for you. So I just get overwhelmed and I'm like, I'm just gonna stick to what I know, and that's toothpaste with fluoride in it. So I give up on what I had been motivated to have a cleaner lifestyle, but I give up and stop believing whatever compelled me to make those changes. They become less compelling simply because I was just too lazy to keep researching that information or finding a resource that could help me make that decision. And the same thing will happen to some of you. You'll get overwhelmed by the amount of information out there. And some of it might seem contradicting because people have different journeys and different opinions about what can work and what doesn't. It can all work. It's just finding the best way to apply it to your own life. So, and the same thing will happen to you. You'll get overwhelmed at some point by the amount of information that's sometimes contradicting because everyone has their own journeys and their own things that have worked for them. And it can all work for you in some way. You just have to find what works. But you will give up because you'll think about the desire that you had to make money on your own terms, have the motherhood that you want to have and live the life that you want to live, the family time that you want to have. But it'll all start to seem farther and farther away whenever you fall into those traps, enough to give up on that decision altogether. And that's sometimes what our brains do to us. They attempt to keep us safe in what is familiar and, comfortable. And if we can't logically connect the dots all the way there to the end, then without getting spooked, then we just jump ship. And mindset is very important in starting any service-based business or any business really altogether, because becoming your own boss, and in this case, starting your virtual assistant journey, you have to have a good mindset. And if you think that that's a waste of time, then any work that you do without working on your mindset is going to be a waste of time. So think about it. That's why people who grow up in privilege, whether they have money, families, careers, etc., to fall back on when they make decisions like this, we see them take steps into the unknown without a lot of fear. They don't need to logically connect the dots to the end goal because the what ifs of if they do fail, they don't really matter because they have something to fall back on. But here's the thing. Those people don't end up usually failing because they have such a strong mindset from the beginning of this is gonna work, because they don't have the fear poking holes in that dream or that vision or their motivation. So what if we could do the same? What if, even if we don't have a trust fund or a family with money or a savings or a career to fall back on, what if we believed we could, no questions asked, because we were going to make it happen no matter what? What would your life look like if you could fall in love with an idea and then go forward and just make it happen?